Well, we would call a special session of the legislature right after the next election to repeal the most damaging aspects of the NDP's policies. We would begin with Bill number 1, the Carbon Tax Repeal Act, try to get other tax rates down as quickly as we can, send a message to investors that Alberta is open for business again. I would appoint a minister whose primary job is cutting unnecessary regulations by about 1/3 and speeding up the approvals process in, for example, the Alberta Energy Regulator. We would stop the NDP's any future increases in the minimum wage, which are killing jobs for young people right now. We would also stop the shutdown of the coal plants because that is going to massively increase power prices in the future. Then we would fight hard to get these, at least some of these pipelines built and go around the world to let international investors know that Alberta is open for business. So 2 points. First, we need to grow the economy by restoring investor confidence and getting our economic growth rate back up. If we could do that, government revenues will grow too, because since the NDP raised the corporate and personal income tax rates, revenues from those sources have actually gone down. So if we need government revenues to grow again, that's why job number 1 is these pro-growth policies. Secondly, we'll have to go through a period of sustained fiscal restraint. I don't think this means huge absolute cuts, but at least 0% growth in government spending during our first term in office. Alberta has the most inefficient provincial government in Canada. We're spending 20% more per person than the average Canadian province, 20% more than BC, yet they get better outcomes than we do in things like hospital wait times. So I think this suggests that there is a lot of waste and internal bureaucracy that we could reduce without affecting the quality of frontline services. It's not a priority. The bill was adopted unanimously in the legislature, and I don't hear anybody proposing that we should repeal it. My priority is economic growth, job creation, and that bill is settled law. As I've said, I think that schools know best when it's appropriate to include parents in helping children who might be bullied. I don't think we want politicians to create artificial or kind of legal barriers between parents and their kids in the schools. We're talking here about legislation that applies all the way down to kindergarten and children at the age of 5. So I think that we have to recognize every child is unique, every circumstance is different, and just common sense should apply in ensuring the best interests of the child are served if they're facing difficult times at school. I think the biggest issue is economically market access for our oil and gas products. Oil and gas is directly nearly 20% of our provincial economy, and obviously a lot of other sectors depend on it. And if we want to diversify our economy for the future, we need to maximize the value of oil and gas while it still has a real value. And so that means getting pipelines built. That means assertively representing Alberta, standing up for Alberta in our relations with Ottawa and other provinces like British Columbia, which is why I've said I would fight for the federal government to rein in the National Energy Board, which effectively just shut down the Energy East pipeline. We would fight for a fair deal on equalization, and we would make it clear to our friends in BC that if they arbitrarily block the Kinder Morgan pipeline, there would be consequences. I think experience, a track record of proven leadership in getting things done both outside and within government. As president of the Canadian Taxpayers Federation, as the first director of the Alberta Taxpayers Association, even in my early 20s, I was fighting for fiscal responsibility here in Alberta and won that fight. And then as a federal minister, from leading tough but necessary reforms in everything from immigration to employment, deploying our troops overseas. These are tough decisions which gave me the kind of experience we'll need to get our province back on track in 2019. And then I offer the experience of the past 16 months in helping to lead the way to creating this united conservative movement. So that's a proven track record that I offer.